Alright everyone, welcome back to my channel, Baseball Talk with Nick Morgan. So today, I'm going to be talking about Corey Kluber being traded from the Cleveland Indians to the Texas Rangers. I have a lot of thoughts on this. This is insane. I mean, we all kind of knew Kluber was going to be, on the market and people could shop for him, but I had no idea that the Texas Rangers would be the team to acquire him. And for the return that the Indians got, this is mind-blowing and not really in a good way. But we're going to talk about it all, go into detail about who's going where, all the stats for Kluber and the Rangers players that are now going over to the Tribe and playing in Cleveland. But, yeah, big news. Corey Kluber is going to be a Texas Ranger in 2020. And with that being said, let's get right into the video. If you haven't already, don't forget to drop a like on this video and subscribe. Without further ado, let's get into it. Corey Kluber being traded to the Texas Rangers. The Texas Rangers have packaged together outfielder DeShields and right-handed pitcher Emmanuel Clase, and they are sending them over to Cleveland in exchange for starting pitching ace Corey Kluber. Now, to me, this trade does not make sense. If you're anyone on the Cleveland Indians, I mean, this is just kind of interesting at this point because the Rangers didn't have to give up much to receive Kluber. DeShields Jr. has a couple years of experience at a Major League Baseball level, but he's nothing crazy. On the field, he's got some pretty good defense, but he's definitely a speedy guy. We're going to talk about him and his stats in a little bit. And then we have Emmanuel Clase, who debuted this past August, and those two guys it doesn't seem enough for Corey Kluber. So I think the Indians, this is just a form of them trying to get rid of money on the payroll. And they said, hey, we're pretty much giving away for free. Merry Christmas to the Texas Rangers. Happy holidays. But I don't know. I mean, the Rangers definitely lucked out here. They got him very cheap, and good for them. I mean, they're starting with a new stadium in 2020, and they did not get to sign Anthony Rendon or anyone else on the market just yet. But I'm sure with the addition of Corey Kluber, they're going to go ahead now and add to that offseason wish list here. And they're going to go ahead and prioritize some guys. Maybe they sign Josh Donaldson, a couple other big free agents that are on the market, maybe another starting pitcher. But I don't know. This might just be the start for the Texas Rangers. Insane, though, that Kluber is no longer going to be in Cleveland. He's had some great memories there. He started his career off with the Tribe, and now he's going to the Rangers. And honestly, I don't know how I would feel if I was Corey Kluber, because you just gave me to another team for essentially, not a big haul in return. But I don't know. This is great for the Rangers and maybe the Indians not so much. But at the moment, this is the only thing. These two players are the only players involved on the Rangers' behalf going over to the Tribe. If there is anything updated, I will comment it down below. But yeah, all we know of is that DeShields Jr. and Emmanuel Clase are going to Cleveland to play for the Indians in 2020 in exchange for Corey Kluber. So we're going to talk about the big piece of this trade here, Corey Kluber and now the Texas Rangers. We're going to go ahead and dive into his stats. In 2019, the right-handed pitcher pitched in 7 games with a 2-3 record, 5.8 ERA, and 35 2/3 innings pitched, with 38 strikeouts and a 1.65 whip. Now, an oblique injury hindered his time at a major league level last year. He was off and on, didn't really pitch for a little while, and he went to the minor leagues, never really came back up to a major league level. He did, but it just wasn't anything great. He didn't have his form, his mechanics. He just didn't look like Corey Kluber. However, in his career, he has pitched in 208 games with a 98 58 record to his name, with a 3.16 ERA and 1,341 2/3 innings pitched, racking up 1,461 strikeouts and a 1.09 whip. So, of course, his career numbers are much better. And, if you're the Texas Rangers, you're going to be getting probably a 2018 form or a 2017 form of Kluber and not 2019. As long as he is healthy, he should be back to what he was like in previous years, not just the past season. So I really like this. I mean, the Texas Rangers, again, absolute steal. They could easily focus their offseason now on starting pitching and just additional pieces to the team. But I'm surprised that Joey Gallo wasn't sent over to the Indians, because that honestly right there, maybe Joey Gallo and Emmanuel Clase or something, those two guys might have been a decent price for Kluber. But if you're keeping Joey Gallo, you're now gaining Corey Kluber. You have a couple other guys on the team that are going to help you out. You can go ahead and pick up some more guys this offseason. You have a little more time, and a couple great starters still available, and just defensive guys, whatever. Some big bats as well. You guys know what I'm trying to say here, but the Rangers, a great steal here. Corey Kluber will be joining them out in Texas for 2020. I personally love the Rangers side of this. This is great for them, and the Rangers and the Angels will be competing in the division next year for 3rd place. I think it's great because we're finally seeing some of these teams start to rebuild. The Texas Rangers, I really like what they did here. Congrats to them. Kudos. Corey Kluber is great. He should be amazing with them next season. Corey Kluber will be joining Mike Minor and Lance Lynn in the starting rotation for the Texas Rangers come 2020. And I don't know where he's going to land in that rotation, whether he's going to be the ace, the number 2 guy, or the number 3 guy. But I'm sure he will be the number 1 or number 2. As I mentioned before, he came off of a very injury-prone 2019, so you have to hope that he is going to be healthy, and that might have played a factor in why the Rangers kind of underpaid for him. But either way, even if it wasn't, this is an absolute steal here. Corey Kluber has shown to be very good in the past. He's going to be very good, hopefully, with the Rangers in 2020, and the Rangers will be a contending team within the next couple years, especially if they can hold on to Kluber for a little bit longer. Now, there's also going to be $500,000 in cash going to Texas from Cleveland to help pay some of the fees that Kluber is now going to have for being traded and everything. So the Rangers will be able to pay him off a little bit. But, honestly, great pickup for the Rangers. They easily got Kluber, and they won the trade for sure. Hands down, they hardly had to give up anybody. I like it. Go Rangers. Before we start talking about Class A and DeShields, I want to talk about Corey Kluber's hardware. The 31-year-old is a 2-time American League Cy Young Award winner in both 2014 and 2017 with Cleveland, and he is a 3-time American League All-Star spanning from 2016 to 2018. And those 3 years, he has proven that he is an ace. He is very good with the team. 19 was a setback year for him because of that oblique strain, but hopefully he's going to come back in 2020 stronger and healthier than ever. So a quick little recap again of who the Cleveland Indians will be adding to their rosters. Outfielder DeShields and right-handed pitcher Emmanuel Clase. Now, if we talk about DeShields, in 2019, he had 357 at-bats, hitting .249 with 4 home runs, 32 RBIs, 24 stolen bases, and a .672 OPS. In his career, he has a total of 1,674 at-bats, hitting .246 with 18 home runs, 126 RBIs, 106 stolen bases, and an OPS over 660. So, for the most part, he is really used for his speed, and that will be kind of the contributing factor and the deciding factor of where the Indians place him and what they decide to do with him. 24 stolen bases in 2019 was great. But 4 home runs, he's not a power hitter. He does hit for contact. Usually he does hit closer to the top of the order as well. So his RBIs are typically low, 32 on last year. So it's going to be really big for the Indians. Maybe use him as like a backup guy or whatever they're going to end up doing with him. I'm sure they will make the right decision. But it was just kind of, I guess, like, here, we'll take him as the topper for Corey Kluber, in exchange. Because we don't want to ask for too much. But, we do want, like, something back for our ace. So, again, speed is really big for Delino. His offense isn't going to be the best out of all the outfielders that the Tribe has, but that's okay. We don't know what his set row will be because he is joining Oscar Mercado, Franmil Reyes, Greg Allen, and Jordan Lowe in the outfield, and he's not going to be a designated hitter, so that's for sure. So I don't know exactly what DeShields will be doing in 2020 with Cleveland, but I'm sure they'll have him doing something if he's a backup guy or whatever the case may be. He's joining the team no matter what, so those are his numbers. Not the best as your topper for a big starting pitcher like Kluber, but honestly, again, the Rangers, they had to give up somebody in order to receive him. Even how low they had to go, it didn't really matter. But DeShields, he's got Major League Baseball experience. He's got a couple of years under his belt. You could definitely help out some of the younger guys on the team, like Oscar Mercado in the outfield. So I guess you have that positive aspects to it. But with that being said, let's go ahead and now talk about Emmanuel Clase, the next guy that the Tribe received. Finally, I'm going to talk about the last piece of this trade here, and that is Emmanuel Clase going from the Texas Rangers to the Cleveland Indians. Now, before getting into his stats and some information about him, I think I am mispronouncing his name. I might not be. There were a couple different pronunciations I could have gone with. I stuck with Clase for the video. If I did pronounce it wrong, I do apologize. But either way, he does have 1 year of service under his belt in Major League Baseball. When I say 1 year, I really mean about a month and a half or so, because he made his debut at a professional level on August 4th, 2019 with the Rangers. In that time period, though, he was able to pitch in 21 games, racking up a 2-3 record with a 2.31 ERA and 23 1/3 innings pitched. He totaled 21 strikeouts and a 1.11 WHIP in his first 21 games at a professional level. So he's also 21 years old, which is really cool. He's a young guy, and to my best belief, he is a starting pitcher or a bullpen guy. You can use him either place you need him. So that is going to help out the Indians a little bit. I could be wrong on that, but I am pretty sure I read about that somewhere. Don't quote me on it, though. So it's definitely going to help out the Indians because they did just lose a starter, of course, in Corey Kluber. So I don't know where they're going to put him. I'm sure they will use him, though. He's 21 years old. And I also read that he has a 101 mile per hour cutter at its best, which is a disgusting pitch. And it could definitely fool some of the best batters in the game. So that's going to be huge for the Indians. But that's really as much as I know about Emmanuel. And I read before DeShields came out and it was said to be in this trade, I read that Emmanuel Clase was like the big piece here, one of the big pieces. And I was like, who is that? You know, I didn't even realize he had professional experience at an MLB level until I looked up his stats because I'm not really all with the Texas Rangers that much when it comes to like knowledge and stats and everything. But either way, DeShields and Emmanuel Clase are on their way to Cleveland in exchange for Corey Kluber. Alright, you guys, that's going to end it for this video. If you enjoyed, don't forget to drop a like down below, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. I want to hear your thoughts about this trade down below in the comment section, but that is going to be it. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace.